Hello Prince Crew LDN, what's up? We're the Prince Crew, you're our crew, our subscribers, and today's video is going to be a quick one. We're going to talk about Black History Month, what it means to people, how it started. Peace. Today I'm joined with
Adisa.
My name is Paul.
My name is Gerald.
Today's topic is Black History Month. What do you know of Black History Month?
Black History Month to me is not just a month, it's a livity and a life, and originally I know Black History Month, they say the month really started in America. I do endorse it, and it's very good because at least it reminds us, some of us who don't know, that there is our story, not just a black is story, but it's our story to be told. And most of the youngsters have a problem because they don't really know, really aware how great the black power is.
And of course, have you heard of Negro History Week?
Well, Negro History Week is basically, some call it Black History Month, some call it some... Yes. Thank you.
Negro History Week was like the original Black History Month. It originated from there. Just say that more. So do you think that it's necessary for people to know that?
Yes, as I said, it's very important for people to know that, because it reminds most of all the youngsters who is not really aware of how great our movements is, or how great a people we are as a community. So it wake up a bit some of those who is sleeping. Maybe it used to wake them up a bit. That remind them that we have our story, and it's a story of greatness. So to me on the contrary, black history or black our story is not just for a month. It's a lifestyle. It's what we do. It's a livity, personally.
So you believe that Black History Month, as the month, we should be proud of it, but at the same time we should always know that we have to celebrate and believe in Black history well past Black History Month?
Yes, because it's always good to celebrate ourselves and celebrate our lifestyle as black people, and to celebrate us as a people together. Not necessarily mean all the negatives alone, because most people talk about Black History Month of just being what came and stopped our people. We're not just thinking about what came and stopped. Slavery and those things is just interruption to our race and our people. Those were just interruption. There was a life and a generation way ahead of slavery. Our month didn't begin in slavery. Slavery was just an interruption from the greatness. We're talking about people like Imhotep, who was designer the first operation, the man of medicine. He was the designer for the Great Pyramid. He was the master architect. So our history has always been there. So I don't really celebrate it as just being just a day to me. But it's very important for the young ones, as we reiterate before.
It's like the history of the Sudan pyramids. There's a lot of black history out there.
There is so much history out there. For example, the traffic light was designed by our people.
Was invented by a black inventor, yes.
The traffic light, the first clock, the first time instrument, the first what they designed the watch offer. And that's the mastermind of civilization right there. And we are to be reminded that it was even the clock make we know that there could be a time. Make we know that we could have a civilized day and age and now. Because without timing, there's nothing possible. Timing is everything. So we see one of the simple most important factor for the black man to design was the design of the time, the tekem. The tekem is the oldest time instrument. There's one in what they call Big Ben in the UK here. There is one in St. Peter's Square, which is in France. There is one which is the Washington Monument. All that is just celebrating the black people, because we were the creators. Imhotep was the first master builder of anything to do with pyramid. and the time is one of the oldest time instrument. So that's why I think it's very important, just to know our story, not his story.
Thank you very much. A very good interview, sir. Cheers. Very appreciated. So, Gerald, what does Black History Month mean to you?
Okay, well, Black History Month means to me that means black legacy, and also of what the black people has contributed to the black community as well.
So what exactly is the black legacy?
The black legacy means the impact of what black people has left behind. So it could be through their own talents in sports, music, through their own intelligence, or even their own values. For example, justice, fighting for people who are oppressed, fighting for people who doesn't have any opportunities, fighting for other people who doesn't have a voice to say anything. For example, hip-hop music as well. Like, hip-hop music was the voice of the voiceless that will bring basically uplift people together, if that makes sense. So yeah.
And what do you think of the black achievements that haven't been fully recognized? For example, the inventor of the traffic lights was black, and even Mozart, a historical music composer, was black, but it's not very heavily publicized. Do you think Black History Month is a good method to publicize achievements of black people?
Definitely. Black History Month will make us learn and also appreciate and get inspired by our other black ancestors who achieved before we was born, if that makes sense. So it's a great thing to look at, that if he or she can do it, I could do it myself.
To celebrate Black History Month, do you think we should pay homage to Negro History Week, which was the foundation of Black History Month?
They should do more events, more exhibitions, and if not, that's it, like more celebrations and more events as a way to teach them what History Month is all about, especially hip-hop music as well, that was invented by black people. And if not, hip-hop became a new rock and roll. So without black people inventing hip-hop,
black people invented rock and roll as well.
I know, but like without black people inventing this type of music, then the black culture wouldn't be impacted as much. That's from my own honest opinion. And yeah.
Thank you very much. That was an awesome interview. What do you think of Black History Month, and what does it mean to you?
Black History Month means to me knowledge. Knowledge is power. And power can bring peace and wisdom. According to what I see happening today, the knowledge of our history seems to be distorted through man's greed for war, of conflict of interest for power. So we get kind of recycled, information on where we really came from and how it was for us in the beginning. History for me starts because I was born here, and then history starts back home with my parents and their parents and their foreparents, and then it goes back into the deep roots of history. My understanding around the deep root of history is that, we are creators. We are the first creators of most of what is in this universe. The knowledge has been handed down to us, but it's been distorted, as the first gentleman kind of referenced, that we do not get a better understanding of it. So now that is kind of engaged into our younger generation, that they're lost. So if we're not careful, we can lose all context of what black history is really about. It's about power, it's about a struggle, for me. What they had to bear and go through to become people and accepted people. Inventory, we are the greatest inventors there ever has been, as the gentleman referenced. We have, so many representative leaders that, their words and their understandings can go awash if these months are not kept together. If we do not try to accept that we have a history, we have something that should be told, something that should be known, and something that should be respected and accepted. Not because we're just in this society, in this rat race, because we're in a rat race, that whatever happened to us from in the past should not be told. I'm really kind of directed to insight of how we get back in connection with our ancestors. You know, our ancestors done many great things that we in this westernized world became suffocated from. You know, there's sleeping methods, there's usage of medications. You know, and because we're in this Western society, we're not used to, you know, wanting to have any of those kind of remedies, natural remedies. You know, medication is a deep in root to distortion for us as black people. You know, we didn't like medication. We like anything that's natural that comes from the ground. But yet still now we find ourselves going overground to eat. You know, meat. You know, things that are making us unhealthy. You know, and for me as well, history clearly states that what's in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. You know, and it's becoming to a terms where the war and the conflict of interest for power is getting so great that if people like you do not produce material like this, we will lose all interest in black history. You know, for me, it's a great introduction of power, leadership, you know, and a community, you know, having strength in our community as well.
And do you believe that the origins of Black History Month, aka Negro History Week, should be remembered and celebrated as well as a part of Black History Month, or it should have been mandatory?
It should never be forgotten. Anything to do with our race should never be forgotten, you know, because that's where the conflict of interest comes into it. You know, anything that we had created, anything that we are known to have created, is getting wiped out. You know, if we reference going back to Egypt, you know, they wanted to eradicate anything to do with Egypt. You know, that you know, when they make these films today, gods, the gods of Egypt, it's not of our colour.
They use Caucasian actors that don't represent the people of Egypt. And even on the Egyptian statues, the Egyptian Sphinx, their noses have been distorted so that they don't have, how you say, a black face.
No identification.
Exactly.
No identification of our colour and our race. You know, and that's to show you that there's fear there as well. You know, there's fear there, and we all live in fear. But why should there be that extraordinary fear of, you know, because it's a black race that created a monumental, you know, figure of the pyramids, which no one can replicate and put together again because it's one of its kind, it's unique. You know, why shouldn't it be known that it was black people that invented that? You know, it's quite scary of how our history is getting eradicated, wiped out. Our knowledge is to be of an understanding of dictatorship. You know, it's not a free society. It's not an understanding society. It's you will accept what we do and how we do it. You know, it's very, very, very important that black people understand who they are, where they came from, and where they belong. You know, we belong in this universe. You know, we belong to be remembered in this universe, and we belong to have that understanding that we are great people.
Very fine words, Paul. Thanks for having me.